Hi guys, me again. So I want to talk about midnight snacking. So if you are having struggles with midnight snacking, I am going to help you realize what it is you need to do to stop doing that today. So let's jump in. So I crushing my calorie deficit every single day. I was doing all the things. I was meal prepping. I was eating protein in every meal. And then 11 p.m. would hit. I'm getting ready for bed. I'm trying to get to sleep. Now it's midnight and I'm at the fridge again. And I'm eating a handful of granola. It turns into having an ice cream bar. And I sat and wondered why I can't stop doing this. So let's get into it. Every day I told myself this was going to be the day. I was going to crush it. I was going to track every bite, track every step, make sure I stayed in my deficit, and everything was going to be great. It took me a long time to realize that discipline is the problem. I was not disciplining myself. Midnight snacking had nothing to do with the willpower, but it had everything to do with discipline. I was mentally exhausted, emotionally drained. My body was not satisfied, and my mind was craving comfort. So what did I do? What did I realize? I realized I wasn't eating enough of the right foods throughout the day, and I definitely wasn't taking the time to unwind and have a good bedtime routine. I was stressing, I was scrolling, and instead of getting into a sleepy state, I kept reaching for the food that has always been my greatest comfort. So here's what's going to change, or what has changed everything, and what will change for you. I stopped under eating every day. Yes, I had been putting protein into every meal, but it wasn't enough. I started focusing on meals that were going to satisfy me, especially at dinner time, the meal before bed. I made sure that my last meal was a very good mix of protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs. So what do I mean by that? Okay, number one, a meat, a big source of your protein, or the source of your protein. So pick chicken, steak, salmon. I notice that salmon does give me inflammation, so I don't really choose a lot of salmon. I will do white fish, but mostly chicken breast or steak is the protein that I will use. And then I like to do sweet potatoes. Those are my favorite. And something like sauteed spinach, broccoli, a good salad with very light dressing or no dressing. So grains, basically. That way I'm full and I feel fueled to do any of my nighttime chores after work. And this really gives you a satiating feeling before bed. So that's where I started to try to incorporate for, food, satisfying the food or the craving at night. The next thing I realized while I was going through all of this was that I needed a calming routine. So before bed, either take a shower, a bath. You need to calm your mind, take a breath, stretch, meditate, whatever you need to do to get into that calming mindset, because your body and your brain are telling you two different things. Your brain is like, well, you're tired, and your brain is trying to tell you that you need peace and you need to calm yourself so you can have a good night's rest. And then your stomach's like, yeah, feed me because it feels good. But we really need to find a way to bring that back full circle and really take a moment to have peace. Okay, so I really want to get into this a little bit because it's very important for you guys to understand that you don't need more food. You need peace. Your body is craving peace. So what does that mean? That means that you either had a very long day, you're very stressed out, maybe you're dealing with some stuff at home, maybe at work, maybe both. And I know from experience that all of this can take its toll. Just the routine of losing weight and just the different steps that you have incorporated in your already busy life, it can start really feeling like burnout. So I had to really stop myself, take myself out of the entire chaos for a little bit. One day I just sat back and I was like, okay, I really want to do this. I really want to lose the weight. I want to strength train. I want this to work as a lifestyle change. So what do I need to do? So I decided that every morning I was going to make sure I incorporated protein, even if it meant just making a protein coffee. Then for lunch, I made sure again, if I was only doing at least the protein powder, I knew I was getting protein. So at dinner time, that's why it was so important for me to have real food, satiating food, a real protein source with sweet potatoes and some green vegetables, something so I could make sure I was full. And then if I wanted a tiny dessert, it needed to be a protein incorporated dessert. So I was getting as much protein as possible, so I didn't feel the urge or the craving to midnight snack. But on top of that, I had to remember, even if I got the cravings, that I took a step back and I breathed, reminded myself that I am in control of this. And yes, when you're in a calorie deficit, you may have hunger pains, but that means tomorrow you need to incorporate more protein so you feel satiated, okay? Because you can do this. And I have to remind myself, and I have to remind you, that you can do this. You can stop. You don't need the extra food. You definitely don't need empty calories, because they're not going to satiate you anyways. So stop putting in hundreds of calories of sugar and sweets and ice cream and candy bars and chips and all that, because it's not going to make you feel full anyway. So take a deep breath, remind yourself that you are in control of this. This is your journey. And in the morning, if you need more protein throughout the day, make sure that you incorporate that, because that goes along with the discipline. We are disciplining ourselves to hit a goal of weight loss, of making ourselves feel better, emotional stability, healthy, loving ourselves. This is what our body is craving, and that's what we're going to give it. So just remember that you are not failing. You got this. We've got this together, and we're going to make it happen. So if you're stuck in a midnight snacking cycle, know that you're not alone. Your body is asking for something, and you're going to fuel it better. You're going to slow down, and you're going to build a routine that reminds you that you are already doing enough and that you've got this. So once you start giving this to yourself every day, the cravings will start to fade. It will get easier and easier every day, and you're going to be so proud of yourself. And I'm already proud of you. So keep going, keep showing up. So let me know in the comments what time of day is hardest for you, what is keeping you from staying on track, and if I helped you, please don't forget to like and subscribe. So my hardest day time of day is almost midnight, right before I go to bed. I try to go to bed earlier, and that's a whole nother topic. Sleeping is so needed, and you need it very much, but I go to bed later, and I shouldn't, but right before bed is my hardest time. So let me know what your hardest time is, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.